And we're off. Presumably, we'll wait for the stream to catch up a little bit. Let's see what we have for this card. Let's see, starting just Skurry. Okay. Anyways, looking at the card, Soul Master is very fast. 3 notches is fast. The 2 stag stations are also really quick. So, just right out the gate, I would expect that we'll see one of those get picked first. So yeah, if we actually try and compare the rows and columns here, it's kind of hard to say. I'll do the same analysis I did yesterday. If we go through and look at what goals are actually blocked by Dreamnail, which is one of our big considerations normally, well, we actually don't have too many on this card. Only 5. A little disproportionately shifted towards the left and top of the screen. So for that reason, I definitely don't expect to see anyone.
Oh, my mic.
Interesting, but I definitely don't expect to see anyone go for column 1. And I don't really expect anyone to go for row 1 either, even though it has 3 fairly easy goals. We'll see. I think column 5 actually looks really good. Let me unmark these. The reason why I like column 5 is there's a lot of guaranteed goals here in columns 4 and 5. Same with row 5 as well, actually. So I think that I would probably expect one of our racers to try and make a play towards one of those 2 spots. Now, it is worth noting that this is going to be a fairly claw-heavy seed. You can see right here, Stag Nest, most people will want claw for that. We also have Elderbug, people don't normally like without claw. Stalking Devouts is fairly difficult. Nosk requires claw. Deep Nest Scrub's really hard without claw. And this is also really slow without claw. So that is kind of the downside of going for column 5, is that, well, you're not completely claw blocked. Like these 3 in particular you can get without claw. It's going to be a little painful to do that on a wing seed. Especially if these guys haven't practiced it, they might end up regretting that decision. So, whoops. I really do think that the best play for this seed is to, as soon as they have the chance, rush this, go for this maybe, and then after that, go get the hot springs, and even Mask Maker after that. Like, this is a really fast way into the center of the board, and the rest of your goals here aren't constricting you quite so much. Okay, but that's enough analysis of the board. Our runners are a good ways into the seed now. We already see Yote going for a hot spring, so that could be sort of a sign that he's considering uh, anything other than column 5, which will have a hard time marking that goal. Meanwhile, Skurry rushing straight into the False Knight fight. This is a pretty low Geo seed here, so it's hard to justify making an early shot play, knowing that they only have right around a 40% chance of buying any item they're interested in. Yeah, row 1 is difficult, right? It has 2 of the fastest goals with 3 extra notches in Soulmaster, but the other goals a little finicky, and I don't know, row 2 doesn't look great to me. Though it's definitely still viable. I don't like if my opponent got row 5, I would not feel like I were in a losing position. Okay, Skurry looked a little confused there as to whether maybe he wanted to backtrack for a shot before buying something, before setting his hard save over here. But I think after False Knight, you almost always want to go ahead and check Vengeful Spirit. That's pretty much always going to be your next best option. So Isma's Tier as a first item. That is a really interesting start. That does give them full access to fungal base, access to Green Path, though in a kind of roundabout route through Fog Canyon. You're not likely to see anyone want to go for that, but it can definitely be forced at this point. And it's quite possible we'll see someone do that maybe a little bit early if they have their sights set on that Queen Station goal. Since they can go ahead and go all the way over there right now. Okay, Skurry probably going to head down and check Sly, or rescue Sly at this point. Maybe do a Shadeskip to Salubra. Is worth noting, Yote has a substantial Geo advantage at this point from farming the Asgard and other Geo nodes. That could be fairly big if we end up rolling high in the shops for our first progression item. Let's see, are we going to see a Darkroom play from Yote, or is he just coming up here to rescue some grubs? Yep, looks like Yote just wants to rescue a few extra grubs before doing the same play as Skurry. Meanwhile, it does look like Skurry is going to go ahead and set up this Shadeskip, so that can be handy for checking this shop here. It's a pretty long backtrack if they don't find progression in the other 2 shops. Though this is a very risky play with 370 Geo. I think that's around like maybe a 70 or so percent chance that he'll be able to buy what Celebra has. If not, he'll have to set his bench down here and farm. Oh no, Skurry's setup looks very questionable. He's also not going for a setup parry for this. And he does in fact fail it. That's not a very difficult shade skip to do if you get 3 hits in. And Skurry just set that up very far to the left. If he screws up his shade placement, then he'll have to set that up again. Yeah, really, I would have liked to have seen the save quit at that point, because you have 2 full shops at Dirtmouth, either of which could have had Mothwing Cloak or Mantis Claw or Monarch Wings, all of which would make Celebra trivial. Yep, and Skurry will not be able to do this shade skip, so he's going to set it up a 3rd time. Hopefully he'll have better luck now. Yote's also doing this weird go all the way to the right setup. I mean, it works perfectly well, but it is a bit slower, and not going for a parry on the shade makes it much riskier. Normally what I'll like to do is I'll stand on that lower ledge in the left corner, and just parry and 2 pogos. We'll get you up there pretty safely. But as it turns out, this is a wild goose chase. Celebra has kind of charms, like, Spell Twister's not bad, Lifeblood Heart can be useful if you get it for free, but no one's gonna spend Geo on it. Okay, Skurry finally gets it, though he's lost all of the time Yote spent Geo farming now. Meanwhile, on Yote's side, I definitely saw Fragile Heart in there. I don't know if there's anything else good. Sharp Shadow as well. Meanwhile, on Sly's end, we got just Unbreakable Strength. Not bad right now, but that is not progression. So this will force our runners now to choose between making a play on Leg Eater right now, play on Hornet and the Green Path Just, or a play on Resting Grounds. They can also check Mantis Claw and Dash Master, I suppose. So a total of 8 items, or 6 items and a shop, rather. But Skurry is in luck. He's not going to have to do any geo farming just yet, though we'll have to see what's at Leg Eater to be sure. And it does... does look like Yote is coming back to grab this as Mystere. Probably going to head into Fog Canyon at this point. Skurry, meanwhile, looks to be headed towards Resting Grounds, I would say. Yeah, Skurry's definitely headed to resting grounds. So, one of these plays will probably lead to progression. We'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, unfortunately, the downside of this kind of start is without Mothman Cloak, everything is slow. There's not much to say when racers are just in transit. We do see Yote making a turn uh, straight for Leg Eater. Um, Definitely a good play. This gets him the most items, the shortest amount of time. Right if Skurry's taking the safety bench here, committing to the Darkroom play. If he dies in there, it'll be a long walk out of Crystal Peak. Meanwhile, Leg Eater doesn't have much, but he does have Desolate Dive, which unlocks another item in Resting Grounds, as well as everyone's favorite, Clawless Wingless Flute Nest. We'll definitely won't see that, though, unless every other item has been exhausted. Also worth noting that Dive is very expensive. After cashing in on Unbreakable Strength, Yote won't be able to afford that for quite some time. Meanwhile, Skurry looks to be having some trouble with the Dark Room. He does finally opt to reset at 2 HP. Let's see if he can get through here. He dies on the very last jump in there. That's excruciatingly painful. The other big downside here is that now he has a shade with 380 geo on the far side of the room blocking that last jump. So not only is the shade going to be pretty hard to kill in the dark, it's also going to make it even harder to get through the dark room. Here's hoping he can get past that. Meanwhile, Yote doesn't seem to be headed back to, or down to Dashmaster at the moment, or Bantus Claw. Looks like he's going to go ahead and make the play towards Queen Station, possibly Green Path as well. It is worth noting that with Desolate Dive having been found now, it is possible for our runners to go get the Queen Station, King Station goal right now, to just rush for that. And Skurry gets through, but without his 380 GO. That is not good. Oh, Yote did buy a dive. Well, I'm blind, sorry. But so that's an option for him now, and we might see it. Especially since he's headed over to Queen Station now. He can't afford it yet, but could be possible very soon. I'm not sure I like taking this bench down here at the moment for Yote because there's no good way to get the Geo he needs to open this stag. And if he's going to go up into Green Path, then he'll have to Shade Skip to get to the Green Path chest. And it's going to be a long backtrack. It's a lot faster to go down through Fog Canyon twice than it is to go up through Fog Canyon twice. Shade Cloak and Great Slash at the seer items. That's a little scary. That makes that Arcane Egg in the bottom right corner a lot more painful. Yeah, and the 150 Geo Skurry just got from Dreamnail, not great. Uh, it's looking like that dive is going to be possibly required progression at the moment. The number of items is dwindling. Yeah, the Shade Cloak at 900 Essence is terrifying. That could really restrict the seed. And it could mean this is going to be very slow for a very long time. Let's see, hopefully Skurry knows what to do with his Mystere here. If you haven't done many randos, it's definitely possible to forget this. Yote also seems a little confused, probably because he's not happy with that Queen Station bench not being able to buy the stag, not wanting to progress too deep into Green Path without having freedom to pick his bench. And so he's going to come this way and get grubs. I don't like this play. There's no Hunter Sternal goals, so visiting this part of Green Path is just really a big waste of time. You don't need grubs that badly. They're not in Logic without Claw, or Grub Song isn't in Logic without Claw anyways. It's way faster to get the ones in City of Tears and such. So Skurry doesn't know where to go. Yote is spending time not checking items, so this is kind of a weird seed here. Well, not a weird seed, weird plays by both players. Oh, is Yote going up this way? Oh, this is so slow. Like, the way to go up is through the Horns Passage. That way you don't have to pay a toll. It gets you to Hornet quickly. What can I say? I'm disappointed. Yeah, Skurry can't get Grub Song right now. There are not 10 grubs in Crossroads. Yeah, Skurry is confused in race chat. He thinks the seed is glitched. So hopefully Skurry will figure out what's up. He clearly didn't realize that Dreamnail was Geo. So he thinks that he just didn't get any item there. Skurry is going the wrong way. There are no items here, Skurry. And he quits out. That is going to be bad, to say the least. Oh, and he hasn't benched yet. This is really bad. Yes, Isma's is the only progression item Skurry has. Dive is at Leg Eater. That's what we know so far. I did tell Skurry in race chat that there was no bug with the seed. So that really isn't information to know that nothing is wrong. But hopefully he'll figure out what's going on. Yeah, Skurry just doesn't seem to know what to do here. Maybe he thinks that he needs to do a shade skip. Or maybe he thinks that he missed the Dream Nail item in here. That is not the case. He did get it. It was 150 Geo. This is one of the situations where having a login randomizer which told you what you got and where would be really handy for Skurry right now. Unfortunately, Skurry is not very practiced with Rando, so I'm not surprised he doesn't know the Isma entry through Fog Canyon. Hopefully he'll remember soon. Meanwhile, Yote finally makes his way over to Green Path Stag. He benches here. I don't think he bought Queen Station, which could be really annoying for him since that's a long ways away. So that was a long detour which didn't get Skurry anything. He didn't even get his shade back after going through the Dark Room again. I mean, I could post a link to the helper in Bingo Chat, but that really is too much help for a commentator to be giving. Ultimately, we just have to watch Skurry and wait. The helper tells you what locations are accessible with your item set. So if Skurry were to use the helper right now, all he would have to do is check Isma's tier and it would tell him that Leg Eater is accessible. At which point, he would probably have a pretty good idea of where to go. He probably thinks that Claw is required to get, or Wings is required to get through Fog Canyon, so that's why he's not going there. If he decides to set up this Shade Skip again, though, it will take a very long time. Yeah, this is peak Skurry last year. No, X, we're pretty sure that Skurry just doesn't know that he can use Ismos at this point. Since he doesn't have much Rando experience. Meanwhile, looks like Yoda's going to go make a Balder Shell play. Uh, Taking advantage of that dive to... Skurry just doesn't have any hope here. He's going to kill all, or free all these grubs and get a mask shard for it. There's just not much we can do, right? Like, it certainly isn't fair to Yote. Oh, what is Yote doing? Um, he can use the shade to do the shade skip. Why isn't he trying? Like, seriously. Well, I guess that would be a problem. He wasted a hit on the shade and screwed up the skip. I mean, to be fair, the logical check after Yote did Leg Eater was to go further into Fungal. What he's doing right now by checking Green Path is really slow. Not good routing given the card. Yeah, Glowing Room's not going to work out for you right now, Skurry. I just don't know what to say about this race. I'm not a big fan of what either runner is doing at the moment, though at least Yoda's getting checks in. Skurry is just hopeless. Like, seriously, what are you doing, Skurry? Well, he's gonna check Salubra again. Meanwhile, Yote finally gets to Balder Shell. And it gets him Fury of the Fallen. Not good, but it is a charm. It gets, or not Fury, Fragile Greed. Uh-oh, wait a sec, hold on. There is a problem on the restream. My bad. I thought I cropped this properly, but I did not. There we go. Okay. There are, in fact, 40 charms in the sea. In the game, rather. Okay. Now, has Salubra changed? No, it turns out Salubra hasn't. She actually has the exact same items as she did before. Okay. Yote is back to the crossroads. Um, Probably headed to Soul Catcher at this point, though we could see a fungal base play. Yeah, Skurry just can't believe it. Like, yeah, Skurry is completely lost. Hopefully, right now he'll go look at the randomizer helper and figure out where he's supposed to go. Yote is gaining a substantial advantage while Skurry is confused. But, but not by checking Soul Catcher. Meanwhile, Skurry is headed in the right direction if he'll only keep going. Yote also hasn't been to Resting Grounds, so um, that's 3 items in his mind. And we still haven't seen the Resting Grounds chest, which could be progression. Okay, Skurry seems to have finally found his way. Did we see Yote check, did we see Yote check the Green Path chest? I might have missed that. Yes, this is Skurry found. Skurry has figured out the secret of the seed. Yeah, this is beautiful. The funny thing is that if Dash Master is Dash, like, Skurry won't even be that far behind Yote if he checks it right now. Like, as long as Skurry doesn't go to Green Path, this is definitely still a race. Just have to hope that Skurry doesn't get too tilted from this. Explosion Pogo isn't necessary for Claw with his Vestir. You can just swim there, I believe. Okay, it does look like we're going to see a fungal check out of Skurry, so this is good for him, I think. Um, Obviously, it's possible that this is still a fluke nest seed and full clearing everything will be required, but if one of these two items is progression, Skurry will only be a few minutes behind you. What is Yote trying to do? Um, he could have made that jump if he hadn't have killed the enemy, of course. But he's not going to make it with his current item set now. Meanwhile, Skurry is hot on his heel. Okay, Skurry looks like he's going to head towards Dashmaster first, so is Yote. Hopefully both of them will realize that Mantis Claw is accessible. Doesn't require any items at all, as long as you can enter Fungal. Yeah, there's definitely a hefty bit of inexperience in the tournament at the moment. But there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone has to start somewhere. Oh, and this is a Claw Seed, as it turns out. Yote finding that Mantis Claw at Dashmaster. That means this is going to continue to be fairly slow, but now they can do anything. Uh, that also removes the threat of Fluke Farm, which I'm sure is a load off of Yote's shoulders. And yeah, Skurry has caught up a good bit here, especially as long as he doesn't get distracted by Green Path at this juncture. Interesting. Yote looks like he's going to go right for Mantis Lords here. Um, Meanwhile, Skurry's going to give us the item check, and it's the worst Geo pickup. Not a good consolation prize. Skurry also going for Mantis Lords. Really fast 2 items when you have Claw here. Yep, Flower Quest is definitely a very fast goal. I also really would like to see the Queen's King Station stag play. But yeah, Skurry has taken back the lead with a few spike hits from Yote, forcing him to retreat and heal. So this is a very interesting moment in the race. If Mantis Lords is something and Yote doesn't go back, then Skurry has a pretty big advantage. If Yote does go back, Skurry still has an advantage. Yote's really riding on the Mothwing Cloak and Boulder Shell checks right now. But I don't think even that's an advantage since Skurry has already checked resting grounds by comparison. So he can quickly stag back there, check the catacombs, do Elderbug, or move on to City of Tears. It would be really funny if Shape of Un had a Mothwing Cloak right now. Um, I I think right now, without seeing anything else, this race is going to hinge on who finds Mothwing Cloak first. The racers are mostly even, um, and Mothwing Cloak appears, by all signs, to be fairly buried. That will probably has the potential to be, well over a 10-minute difference, just in speed, depending on when they find it. Okay, let's see what the rewards are for Skurry. Number 1, a Hallownest Seal, to be redeemed for 450 Geo. Number 2, Howling Race, a very meh spell. And almost vanilla, the Mantis Lord's Geo migrated a few units to the left. I think I had a pretty long and effective speech on race yesterday, but it is not my favorite item to find in Rando because I don't like spike tunnels with race. Not that spike tunnels are going to be a thing at this point, considering we don't have dash yet. Yeah, Scurry's tracker is messed up because I think he had a save loaded at the beginning, which had a lot of items, or maybe all the items. So that's costed him a lot of time here. So Skurry is returning to Crossroads. Will we see Soulcatcher here, or is he going to go to Green Path? Hopefully not Green Path, and it doesn't look like that's his thought here. Meanwhile, Yote is backtracking out of the Mantis Village area, uh, possibly going to give us a sports room check. If not that, then he'll want to open Queen Station at the very least. Let's see what Scurry decides. Okay, this is good for Scurry. He's headed down, probably to Queen Station. At the very least, this means that we'll continue to get new item checks from him, including race or possibly race, possibly the green path chest, possibly spore shroom, or he's just going to open the stag station here. Anything is better for Skurry right now than doing a dashless check of upper green path, which did not have anything and was a big waste of time for Yote, unfortunately. Okay, so Yote's going to show us what's over here in Spore Shroom. Quick Slash, not on the card, not extremely useful. Oh, and this is interesting. Skurry is going to the right. May not realize that he could have just gone to the left to get things a little bit faster. It's also possible that Skurry just doesn't know his way around fungal wastes, and he's either going to go to City of Tears, which would be really weird and really dumb, or he's going to walk all the way around the Spore Shroom, which would also be weird and questionable. I know I've said this before, but there is absolutely no reason to ever enter City of Tears from the left side. It is slow. There's no geo there, there's no items there, and there's no stag station there. Whereas King Station is always available in a situation where you could go through the left side, and King Station does have geo, a stag, and items. So yeah, what can you do other than shrug and express your toxic disgust at the racer? Meanwhile, not sure what Yoda's doing. Looks like he wants this relic here, but there's not much left in fungal for him to get at this point. Really, right now, both racers should either be trying to get their first goal or checking items as fast as possible. And neither of them really seems interested in that. Okay, Yote changing his mind, he's going to go back to where it's not clear, but that way was not the way. Skurry, meanwhile, is almost through with this really long hallway to get down to West City of Tears proper. And he's going to make the Lem check his first priority. Yeah, Soulmaster, not a bad play, particularly. I was a little dismissive of this earlier, but it is worth noting that it's very rare in Rando for you to actually transit between West and East City of Tears. So making a Soul Sanctum play at this point wouldn't be terribly costly. It just will be a bit annoying because, you know, he's not opening the Path to Watcher Knights. He has to open city storerooms, which is generally a fairly bad stag station. And he has to do this very long roundabout lever to get to Soul Sanctum, which you can skip from coming from the right. It's true, I do have very strong opinions on which Whispering Roots are worth going for. As it is, most people don't know all of them, so they just go for the ones which they know where they are, which usually aren't the fastest, as it turns out. I mean, answering a question like which ones are they is um, kind of hard because it really is a very idiosyncratic goal. You know, you get the Whispering Roots, which are on the way with whatever else you're trying to do. But like in, um, I believe at least one of the recent cases I was watching, um, I do think it was X actually, had a goal in Queen's Station or Queen's Gardens that he had to get. So, like starting from Dirtmouth, there are 4 Whispering Roots along the way. Um, you know, the one in Crossroads, the one in Ancestral Mound, the one in Fog Canyon, and then the one in Queen's Garden. All of those except the one in Ancestral Mound are really fast. Um, and even the one in Mound isn't super slow. You could always sub in Resting Grounds for it instead. But what we saw in the race was Axe quit out after getting the Crossroads route, went to the tree in the shaft and waterways, which is slow and out of the way, fully cleared that, and then went back to Crossroads. So I was a little questioning of that decision. Anyways, I was a little distracted from the race for a moment, but Yote seems to have followed in Skurry's questionable decision making. Also going to make a City Crest Soul Sanctum play. And I did say at the beginning that Column 5 looked good, so the Soul Master goal, not a bad idea. And the 3 item checks in Soul Sanctum do give them a good chance of finding that missing Mothwing Cloak. So I can't criticize it too much, is what I'm trying to say. Skurry surviving the army of Soul Twisters and this last enemy room in Soul Sanctum. Only gets Nailmaster Glory from the first item spot. That's definitely not useful at all, given what they have. So Skurry's going to be a little disappointed by that. Meanwhile, I do like this by Yote grabbing the Rancid Egg here. Very fast pickup, and it will help him along to that goal. If Skurry does, well, Skurry will definitely get the corner. If Skurry forces him into column 1, he can get that goal a little faster now. Yeah, it does seem a little weird to me that neither runner opted to get the nail upgrade. In my mind, at least, that's one of the big advantages of City Crest entry, is that the nail upgrade becomes much more convenient with the elevator you enter on. Skurry narrowly avoiding death in this dive phase of Soulmaster. Hopefully he won't get hit by a fireball here. That would be really bad. He does survive though. And yes, the quick kill with Soulmaster hitting the spikes was removed after 1-2-2-1. Okay, Vengeful Spirit, always a nice, nice find. One of the most useful spells in terms of utility. And in this case, it's even more useful to Skurry because Shade Soul is on the board. So they'll have to find both VS copies in order to mark that goal. Only steady body for the last item, so on the whole, Soul Sanctum, not amazing. Meanwhile, Yote's making this play, which has become very popular among runners recently. I'm not a huge fan of it. It's slow, it gets a stag station, which you generally don't need or don't want to return to, but it does have the advantage of getting you a really handy simple key. But Yote is going to have to bail out of that and hope to escape with his life after taking a few too many hits from the guards here. I suppose it is worth noting in this situation that city storerooms is the only practical way for them to get out of West City of Tears, aside from, I suppose, doing the waterways clear next. It is interesting to me that Skurry is going to take this bench here, because, I mean, the only way that makes sense to me is if he were planning getting the simple key here and immediately doing a waterways play. Like, I just don't like it. Like with this item load up, he should be going to Deep Nest. He can buy Lantern, which is a goal. He can kill 6 Devouts, which is a goal. Talk to Mask Maker, or get all the grubs. I mean, how can you justify staying out of there right now? Even Deep Nest Stag is on the board. Whereas Waterways doesn't get you any goals, and it only gets you 2 items. And it's a pretty tough Fluke Farm fight with just these items. Oh, but Grub Song is the dream now. That is absolutely huge for Yote. Unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, there's not many Dream Mail goals on this card. But that still is a substantial advantage to Yote, because it could take Skurry a while to get that Dream Mail at Grub Song. Runners tend to have a lot of variation in when they check it. And while Yote has that Dream Mail, that gives 6 goals, which are basically his. Now, the Malek play. I feel I have to address it because it's happening on the screen in front of me. But no, I mean, this is not great. Number one, like even if you wanted to get this Mass Shard eventually as part of your 8, this should be your last one. It's right next to a stag station. Wait to get the most upgraded spells you can, so the fight's as fast as possible. Instead, we see take a death here, which leaves a 2000 Geo Shade here, which he almost has to immediately go back for and do another slow Malek fight. Also, just generally speaking, I'm not completely sure that Malek is one of the 8 fastest charm notches. Probably is with upgraded spells, but it's still a little slow. Okay, Skurry is going to go check Grubsong, it looks like. So that is Yote's advantage lost. Oh, no. Never mind. Skurry has 10. Or, wait, hold on. What am I even saying? I'm blind and I mixed up the two streams. Sorry. Skurry is checking Crystal Peak right now, which is definitely a good play still. He can get the Shopkeeper ski here. He could get Crystal Heart if he feels comfortable with his Fireball skips. This is a few more items on the low percent strat to get through that room. He cannot check the pressures, the Crystal Peak chest with this item set. Also interesting that Skurry is going this way without, yes, remembering that he can just go up the conveyor. Certainly not worth the time with, without dash. Okay, yeah, now he's trying to get this, King's Idol, really hard to get without dash. Still possible. Meanwhile, Yote. I feel bad for Yote, in a way, because he's just going to keep bashing his head on this. Even though it's really just not worthwhile at all right now. Like, there would be so many better chances to get this Malek shard that I really do wish that he would rescue his Shade here and quit out. Like, I mean, frankly, in Yote's position, Galleon makes a lot of sense. Like, he can do Galleon, Deep Nest Stag, I don't know, probably 3 notches, and then you snipe 2 goals on Skurry's side of the board. Mask Maker, Stalking Devouts, whatever he wants. Like, there are so many Deep Nest plays. In fact, I want to make a point, so I'm going to mark all of the Deep Nest goals. Okay, look at this card right here, and justify avoiding Deep Nest. And, well, it isn't even a goal, but Queen's Garden Stag also normally want to come through Deep Nest, but that's another thing. So, with 8 Deep Nest goals on the board, like, getting the Deep Nest Stag as soon as possible only helps you. Obviously, you can't check the Weaver's Chest, you can't check Sharp Shadow at the moment, but you also don't want to delay that indefinitely. Okay, does Skurry know that... Okay, he's gotten through the hardest part of this. The conveyor's up ahead. Well, I shouldn't say the hardest part. The conveyors are actually a bit harder if you haven't practiced it. But, he can no longer soft block in this room. So, unfortunately, Skurry seems to be having a bit of trouble with the conveyors here. Actually, the way you want to get across here is with wall jumps, not by jumping off of the conveyor. Because wall jumps give you more vertical and horizontal speed. So Skurry takes a death here. It puts him a billion miles away. We can see Skurry in full tilt, doesn't even know what to do. And it looks like he's going to head down to Flute Farm, possibly, and Dung Defender. It's the only possible explanation I can think of for this. It's going to be really hard unless he grabs a nail upgrade, and possibly still hard with that. I think the inventory check is to see if he has a relic he needs to get that nail upgrade, would be my guess. But we'll just have to see here. Meanwhile, Yote is returning to City of Tears as well. Possibly going to see Soul Sanctum play from him. Or, no, he still wants this simple key. See, it's sad that people aren't familiar with low percent because you see Yote trying to make that jump off of the platform, and it would be much more reasonable if he got enough soul for one cast and did a wall jump off of that platform. I'm pretty sure that with the wall jump and a race cast, he could make it there. Certainly, with a few pokos off of the enemy and then race cast, it should be possible. Okay, but Skurry has now entered waterways, headed down. Looks like he's avoiding the bench here, which makes me think he just wants to fight Dung Defender and get over to King Station. That's my guess. Skurry, that's not the way. That is not the way, Skurry. Turn back, Skurry. Don't go this way. Okay, he figured out the puzzle. Now, can Skurry survive the very difficult boss known as Dung Defender? I have died to this boss before, though I did not have dive in my defense. It would be absolutely hilarious if Mothwing Cloak were just at the resting grounds check, as like the freest thing ever from the Stag Station. I really can't believe that neither runner has checked that, because it's like 2 ultra fast items. Even better than Crystal Peak density right now. Oh, and Skurry losing the Dung Defender music by doing some unfun hundo glitch. Very sad to see. Speedrunners should play the game as it was intended, rather than using all of these tricks to save time. Okay, Skurry has taken down Dung Defender. What is his prize? Monarch Wings. Very nice find. That's very helpful, actually, in terms of giving them horizontal movement speed. We'll have to see if Skurry goes back in there to get the King's Idol. That's a very attractive goal for him at the moment. Yes, he will. Though he did not get the King's Idol in Crystal Peak, which is a little frustrating. You can still go back for that one, possibly get the one in Howling Cliffs or the one in Deep Nest, and get a nice easy goal in Column 3, which does not have many nice easy goals. Yote also having trouble on the second phase of Soul Master, just like Skurry. Fortunately, he does get it down. Collects his Vengeful Spirit. Meanwhile, Skurry, a little indecisive about what he wants to do. Considers going down into Basin, checking Wings, decides that's not the call for him. He's gonna go open King Station, see where he goes to from there. Skurry, I don't believe, has spent more than 3,000 Geo at the moment. He should still be a ways away from getting that goal. Oh, and Yote takes a painful death to the basement of Soul Sanctum. You really do have to be careful with this. And it's not a very costly one because of the hard save, but still not great. Also, Skurry making a very, very questionable play here to not bench or open the Stag Station. Not to be too cynical here, but that does leave his bench over by Soul Sanctum, which is not a great place for it to be, and it means it's going to be even harder for him to get out of this area. Also doesn't seem to be interested in checking the two items here. Because he seems to be making a beeline for Hornet 2. Possibly believes he's behind right now. Like, you might argue that it makes sense for him to make that play because he knows Arcane Egg is a goal in his column. But actually, Arcane Egg is, right now, the worst goal in his first column. By far, actually. Because it's still randomized, because we don't know where the other copy of Mothwing Cloak is. And, we know one copy is at 900 Essence, so getting the Arcane Egg will be quite difficult. But the Abyss play could be very rewarding, especially if it does have Mothwing Cloak. Okay, let's see how Skurry does in this Hornet fight. He does have all level 1 spells, which makes this fight a lot easier. You don't really need level 2 spells either for Hornet, since she doesn't have too much HP. I'd kind of like to see him using Vengeful Spirit instead of Wraiths here. So you can see he's not hitting all of the parts of Wraiths, whereas with Vengeful Spirit it's pretty It's not extremely difficult to double her, and so that would do much more damage, as well as being a lot less risky from a damage tank perspective. But oh well, people have to use the strats they're comfortable with, and if he's practiced Wraiths, which he may have, then that's the best thing for him to go for. Meanwhile, Yote takes another death in City Storms. He really wants the simple key, but he just can't seem to get it, and that sends him way back to Soul Master, which is just really painful. So, at this point, I feel like both racers have to be on extreme tilt. Okay, Skurry wins the fight. Only one heal, and he'll be able to make his way to Kingsbrand. I do think that Skurry can feel a lot better for himself knowing that he has a 2-0 lead on the card. Though I definitely think that his performance in the first 30 minutes is really haunting him. I mean, I know we're still getting early Deep Nest goals, early Deep Nest memes in the chat right now, but once again, 8 mandatory Deep Nest goals. Skurry could win without Deep Nest, but I would be very surprised to see it. And this Abyss check right now is only taking him away from there for longer, while not leading to any goals because he still hasn't found Mothwing Cloak. But if Mothwing Cloak is in Abyss, I will eat my words and apologize for questioning Skurry. That is my promise. I mean, there are definitely situations where early Deep Nest isn't good. Like, if this were a card with no Deep Nest goals, which is hard to imagine, but if that were the case, I would absolutely be against a Deep Nest play right now, because there's only one goal in Deep Nest they can get. I mean, plus Hive Blood, I guess, but like, Deep Nest is not a good Rando play at the moment, but it's an amazing bingo play. It's enough to get them from one side of the card to the other with goals, which is, absurd. And Yoda's struggling with this same room. It really hurts to see, but he just needs to play this cautiously, not allow himself to take damage from the enemies again. He's on 1 HP. Okay, he gets through. Oh, well, Skurry is thinking about it. He doesn't have the Geo to get out of here. And it looks like he's going to kill Gorgeous Husk to get that Geo. Meanwhile, Yote headed to Crossroads, possibly going to see a Resting Grounds check from him, or a Crystal Peak check. We'll see which one he feels like. He's entering Crystal Peak, but that could still mean either. We'll also see if Yote has better luck with the Crystal Heart check if he goes that far. I do feel like I have to make a comment here that there is a very nice clip of the low percent strat for the Crystal Heart Room, which is currently pinned in the low percent channel of the Discord. For anyone who might want to look at a resource for this particular trick, which Skurry wasn't able to do earlier. Okay, so in keeping with the tradition from the last race, that goal now has entered Skurry's reserve. Yes, Pitker has the Hamathity Fireball clip. I have a video on my channel of the time comparison for it compared to the normal strat to prove that it does save a tenth of a second, but it is not a clip. Okay, Skurry is going to show us this long-awaited Resting Grounds chest check. This is going to be hilarious. Okay, it is just the Watcher Knight's chest, randomized over here. So nothing amazing. That simple key will be nice, or, I'm sorry, that Geo will be nice if he wants to buy Elegant Key or a simple key, or even just for checking the city, no, not city, but the shopkeeper's key. Oh, and Crystal Heart, that is really good. Crystal Heart opens a Weaver's Den chest. It will save Skurry from having to do the Crystal Heart room the way he did before. Yeah, and it makes his movement much faster. Good all around. Okay, we are going to see the flower play from Skurry. I think this is good, especially if somehow Skurry were to make possibly a deepness play, which I know is a leap, but if he were to do that, you see there's 3 deepness goals in column 4. So ideally he'll want to get 3 goals in column 5, and Elderbug would give him that, the ability to get that. Meanwhile, it looks like Yote is going to shade skip to Resting Grounds now. Skurry riding the elevator for reasons which are not immediately clear. Meanwhile, Yote may be having a bit of trouble with this shade skip. It can be a little finicky with only Claw. It's hard to get the right height without bringing the shade too far to the right. I actually am not a huge fan of the clip I have in the Rando 2 guide for this. I think that there might be an easier setup where you get a parry and then Tupo goes further to the left and don't do a wall jump at all. Yeah, not a huge fan of this. This skip in general, but Yote does get it, so that's really good. Because he will want this Crystal Heart. I mean, if you think there is anything easy or consistent about that shade skip Yote just did, then I don't know what to tell you. Interesting that Skurry is going this way. Going over the top route is easier and faster to get to Elderbug, in my opinion. Well, it's definitely faster, but I think it's easier. But this will get him there. A lot of runners apparently aren't very familiar with the maps of the different areas, so they just have to go the routes they know will work. I'm not a big fan of the category, but this is one of those situations to plug that there is an Elderbug percent where you could practice this flower quest. And I have it on good authority that Skurry has never run Elderbug percent. We get to see Elderbug's very special text, which Sean added. Very heartwarming, delivering the flower to Elderbug John. No, Murray, I don't think that's quite vanilla, I have to say. Okay, and it does look like Skurry's going to go back to Crystal Peak. Possibly get his Shade, the Crystal Heart item, you have the chest item, even the D-Dark item, as well as the King's title here. A lot of good reasons to be here. Oh, I was going to ask chat, because I missed it. But has either runner checked Shopkeeper's Key yet? Because I feel like there have been lots of opportunities for that check to be made, and we still haven't seen it. Alright, Skurry is going to give the Spike Gauntlet a second try. He does not get as far as he did without wings, and he gives up. Okay, and Yote does remember to check the catacombs. This is good. This will get him Crystal Heart, which he will really need for speed purposes to stay in line with Skurry. Interesting that Skurry isn't using Crystal Heart here. Intended strats would be a lot faster and easier in this room, and he won't be able to get through the final one without it. No, Skurry. No, that's not gonna work. Skurry. Yeah, that's a Shade Con. You can't save people, you know? I mean, remembering that the item you just picked up would make this much easier would be nice, but at the end of the day, what's there to do? I mean, Skurry used Crystal Heart while he was in Crystal Peak in the first few rooms, but then I guess he had a brain fart. Yes, as TimeSync is noting in chat, that is a horrifically preventable death from Skurry, but we don't begrudge our runners for their mistakes. Hopefully Skurry will learn and do the correct thing now. Okay, it doesn't look like there's anything good from Shopkeeper's Key. Shaman Stone and Grub Song, nothing good there. Uh, as I was saying in the race yesterday, Shaman Stone's a really nice comfort charm. It's great for speedrunning, but in the course of a rando, it doesn't save too much time. So I guess Skurry doesn't think that he can check Deep Focus right now, so that's interesting. I mean, sometimes speedrunners don't know how to do things the intended strat, and that can cause a lot of issues for them. Okay, if Skurry quits out here without having checked Crystal Heart or Deep Focus, wow, um, that's something. That's impressive. These are aggressively bad plays from Skurry. I'm sorry. Toxic commentary memes aside, I can't keep my silence on this one. Okay, Yote has finally gotten the simple key now, using his Crystal Heart. Um, this is one step closer to the Waterways play. That Monarch Wings will help him a lot if he gets that. Okay, Skurry considers Howling Cliffs, which wouldn't be a bad play right now. He decides Howling Cliffs would be a waste of time. Instead, is this Green Path? Ugh. It can't be Grubs. I guess this is a Green Path play. Yuck. This isn't going to get him any goals. Oh no, he just wanted Grub Geo. Sorry if I sound a little burned out. I'm just looking at the fact that we're an hour 45 in, and only 3 goals have been marked. Like, I know this is maybe a slightly difficult seed with the late dash, but still, there is something more at play than just the seed. Alright, Shade Soul is a bust. Interesting. Oh wait, I just realized I might have incorrectly marked Queen Station in Scurry's reserve, since I think only Yoda ever got it, but if so, that's my bad. It hasn't been an issue so far, so I'll just leave it there for now. Now, what on earth is Scurry thinking right now? I can't get inside his head at all. I don't understand this Fungal Waste play. Maybe he's trying to get to Queen Station from here? Maybe? Okay, that does seem to be what he's doing. I'm pretty sure it would have been faster to go through Fog Canyon, but, maybe Scurry forgot that that's possible. He also seems to have forgotten that you can't Crystal Heart through giant mushrooms, and Scurry dies. Wow. Sorry for being behind. I was looking at the wrong stream again. Terrible commentator, but Both runners are in fungal waste now. I think Yote might finally give us a deep nest play. No, Yote is actually coming all the way in the fungal waste just to rescue Bretta for an 8 Mass Shard goal that he couldn't be farther from. I don't believe it. Like, I can't justify this. Even in the wildest fantasies, um, this isn't getting you anything. Are we going to see Yote do an explosion pogo here? Oh god, the crystal heart shreds. I mean, I wouldn't be hard on the runners if it hadn't already been 100 and no, 110 minutes of this. Like, I have patience, but only finitely much. Okay, Skurry is going to open Queen Station. So now the reserve is correctly marked. Skurry does not know where to go. Skurry is Skurry lost. Okay, we're going to see a deep nest play from Skurry. I like this very much because it means the race will end faster. A time limit would be really nice right about now. It's what a lot of bingo communities do. Say race to a time limit, and whoever gets the most goals wins. Oh, yes, yesterday's race was really good. I hope I didn't come off as being full of shade at that point. I'm not even full of shade here. I'm just kind of memeing right now because this has been a really long and difficult race for both runners. And I do feel bad for them because this is really stressful. And it only gets worse as the race drags on. Interesting to see Yote manually selling his items. That is some game knowledge. That is definitely game knowledge. Okay, Skurry is getting the deep nest grubs. That's good. Hopefully he knows where they all are. I have encountered Hundo runners in the past who could not name all of the deep nest grubs off the top of their head. Though I will not name names because I am a very considerate person. I mean, you remember I said early on that that's a really bad bench. It's not near a stag. It forces you to do a lot of really awful walking and platforming to get anywhere. And Yote's really paying the price for it because, oh my god. Okay, I'm going to watch Skurry's FUD now. Walking, walking, walking. Such a slow seed. But having a slow seed doesn't mean you have to have a slow card. Like, Skurry, why? I mean, almost none of these goals are dash blocked. So, very interesting too to see Skurry not taking the bench there. I mean, this is one of those practical knowledge things, but basically on any deepness trip in any category, excepting Hundo, because I don't know Hundo too well, you take that bench. It's extremely useful as a hub for visiting Trampas, visiting Beaston, visiting Nosk, and oh my god, he's doing Nosk now? Like, backtracking out of here alone will take more time than it would have to grab the bench and eventually leave that way. And if Skurry does die to Nosk here, there will be infinite shade coming from over here. Oh, does Yote have 3 nautical? Let me mark it. See, are there any other goals that the runners have taken into reserve? I don't think so. Well, Skurry does seem to be playing Nosk safe at the moment. Hasn't taken any damage. He's not doing much damage in return, but he's whittling him down. Okay, I'd really like to see Skurry start healing before he comes down too low in terms of HP. Nosk, really not a fight that you want to be doing in that 1 HP, heal to 2, take damage sort of cycle. Meanwhile, Yote finally takes down Brooding Malek. So, oh my god, Skurry is going to die to this fight. It's happening. What did I say about healing early on Nosk? I mean, it may feel slow from a speedrunning perspective, but especially when he didn't take the bench, like, he can't afford to be risky on this fight. Okay, so you only needs like 5 more mass shards now. He's gotten all of the slowest ones out of the way first, so you should be able to get that goal any day now. Oh my god. Wow. I am amazed Skurry got that. Good job, Skurry. Um, I think everyone's blood pressure went through the roof on that fight, but thankfully it's over now. Now imagine if right now Skurry could quit back to the hot spring. Wouldn't that be really cool? I know, I think it would be cool. It would be so much faster. X, you're probably best able to answer this question, but does Undo not get the pension Deepness Hot Spring? Maybe it has Dreamgate by now. I see, yeah. Every category I've run, which enters Deepness from Forest Room, takes that bench, so that's why I was so surprised that Skurry skipped it. And I honestly can't think of a time in Rando when I haven't taken that bench. Uh, basically, when I enter from in Rando, I just plan that I'm going to leave through the tram or through the stag, one or the other, and that's a pretty safe bet. Like, especially with the item Scurry has right now, like he's not going to lose too much time that way for sure. Scurry not quite knowing how to rescue Zone, it seems. Which is odd because I'm pretty sure he's been running 112% all bosses, which does rescue Zone here. So that's a thing. Meanwhile, it looks like Yote finally going to go after No Eyes. This will be his first goal on the board if he can defeat her. And see if he's up to the challenge. No Eyes is a very difficult boss if you aren't familiar with her. Especially since he doesn't have dash or wings here. He has limited dodging ability. And Yote's on 1 HP, and Yote's dead. So, unfortunate, but I actually sort of supported Yote's idea of avoiding No Ice because if you have a boss where you know you haven't practiced it, then your best bet is to trust your own assessment of your ability and not overextend yourself by dying repeatedly. Okay, Skurry is going to bench here in this terrible out-of-the-way bench, which is far from everything. Also, we get some nice flavor text from Claw, one of Scurry's favorite NPCs. The white stars right now are marking reserve goals for the two runners. I used it earlier for a bit of illustrative purposes for some things I was talking about on the card. But basically, the big thing is that Yote has 3 notches in as a reserve goal that he's not allowed to mark right now. So that's why I was trying to illustrate. Now Skurry will have to be a little careful with the last of his deepness clear, because he can run into some order of operations issues with his, if he talks to Maskmaker and rescues the grubs and stuff like that before killing all the devouts. Oh, interesting. That was available really early for Yote, and for Skurry. Wraiths. I don't know if Skurry will ever get back there. I don't think that's on his radar at all. So that's really big for Yote. That gives him a lot of opportunity to catch up now. We'll see if he's able to capitalize on it. Like I was saying before, their barrier to getting goals was never dash. Dash just makes things faster. It's not making things possible so much. Another good lesson from low percent, which people who've never run it might not know, is that you cannot outrun the devout without dash. It is not possible. You have to deboost, or you can escape with 1 hit. You can't do 2, I should say. Yeah, unfortunately, now Skurry doesn't have any chance of finding Mothman Cloak down here at Weaver's Den, which would make things a lot easier for him. I think the best thing he could find here would be, I don't know, the other Dreammail copy. Dash Flash is nice, but he really doesn't want extra reserve goals at the moment. Oh, well, there it is. That's a mixed bag for Skurry right now, because he's in a lot of danger of accidentally busting his reserve while he's down here. Let's see, Yote has to be close to 4,000 Geo now. Did he buy all of Sly's Did Yote buy all of Sly's mass shards? Okay, then that's definitely 4,000 for Yote, since he has Lantern. It shouldn't even be close. Alright, and has Skurry killed 2 Devout's here? I think that's his second. I might have missed him killing the one in the previous room. Always have to be careful diving onto Devouts because there is a glitch which can soft lock you there. Um, you can get stuck in an infinite dive animation. Okay, so Skurry has killed 3 Devouts, um, and he's rescued 4 of the grubs. Hmm. It's interesting to me that Skurry's entering from here. He's not going to be able to get enough Devouts unless he enters from the other entrance. Or wait, no, there's 3 accessible Devouts. What am I saying? No, there's 6 Devouts without Beast Den. Um, there's uh, there's 1 in the rightmost dark room, 4 in the room with Weaver's Den, and then another one above Midwife. So uh, you can get it without entering Beast Den. But it is claw required if you don't enter Beast Den. Okay, that's Scurry's 5th. Okay. That's good. That was the correct order to not have any reserve troubles. Yeah, not going for the deep nest tag or for the mask maker goals. Now what is Yote doing right here? It's not clear to me. This doesn't make progress towards item checks for Dash Slash. It doesn't make progress towards Hot Springs. Um, like, he could be planning on entering Deep Nest from here to get Tram Pass and map pins. But, you cannot mark that, Skurry. Oops, sorry for bumping the mic. Oh, Skurry, don't talk to Maskmaker here. This will void the Maskmaker goal if he talks here. This is a clear-cut violation of the reserve goal rule. Okay, but it does look like Skurry is thinking better of it. He's going to go up towards Queen's Garden Stag this way. Yep, this is a really good play for Skurry. Would probably be faster to get the extra notch. Oh, and this is really bad. Scurry's going to talk to Maskmaker and lose the goal forever. Skurry, why? Okay, so Maskmaker is not in Scurry's reserve. That is a banned goal now. And Skurry dies. Skurry does not have notches. Scurry's reserve goals are Dash Slash and Deep Nest Stag. He has voided Talk to Mask Marker by collecting it afterwards. Yes, Yote can mark Dash Slash as soon as he visits Weaver's Den. However, Yote marking Dash Slash will not return the Mask Maker goal to Skurry. That goal is permanently lost. And it's going to be permanently lost by Yote, too. Notches in 4000 GO. I mean, I think it's pretty clear cut that Yote did spend 4000 GO since he bought all 4 Mass Shards and Lantern. So, I feel like I have to take that. Then the score will be recorded as 12-12. Yeah, I'm gonna mark it red, since actually in Bingo Chat I've had to tell both of them that they don't have it, so... Okay, I can unmark all these reserve goals, though. So, as far as I'm aware, the only reserve now is Yote's 4000 Geo and Skurry's Dash Slash. Okay, well this is good by Skurry. Hopefully he'll remember he can mark Dash Slash too. Does Skurry not remember that he has Dash Slash? Hmm. The interesting thing is Skurry should know that Dash Slash was in his... Okay, there we go. Skurry marks it. Alright, the score is now 10-3. So Skurry can win this fairly quickly by spending 4000 Geo, buying all the map pins, getting Stagnus Vessel Fragment, though he'll have to check Grubsong first in order to get all the map pins. But he has all the grubs in order to do that. Oh yeah, he could get 4 Rancid Eggs too. I didn't realize that he has that he has 2 in column 2 now. Let's see. This is going to be a little. This might be a little difficult for Skurry without dash, but it looks like he does it no problem with 2 Pogos. Meanwhile, Yote seems to be going after Marmu now. Not a huge fan of this goal for him, but I mean, a goal is a goal, right? But I think right now is the time when strategically Yote needs to be cutting off the unrandomized goals from Skurry. Ooh, and he doesn't bench for this fight. This seems like a really dangerous idea, which of course leads to a death for Yote. But yeah, something I've noticed a lot in the group stages is that, like, once we're in an endgame scenario like this, where Skurry has a 10-3 lead, as a player who's losing, your job to extend the race as long as possible is to force Skurry to spend time searching for items and not marking goals, which means that you have to drop whatever looks most convenient in front of you and cut off his access to these unrandomized goals like 4 Rancid Eggs or 4 Hot Springs, and so on and so forth, 4000 Geo. Because those give Skurry a win condition right now, which is much easier than searching for Dream Nail, collecting essence for Shade Cloak, trying to track down Shade Soul. You know, what a 12-12 endgame would involve. It is also worth noting that with one more goal, Skurry will guarantee the tie. Skurry still needs 13 goals to win, even with the banned goal. If it's 12-12, it'll just be a tie. Now where, oh where is Skurry going? Is he going to Monarch Wings? Or maybe, is he going to go to Abyss? This is very strange. Well, how could we possibly end the race without another Skurry lost? Because I feel like we haven't used Skurry lost quite enough yet. Okay, we're going to see an Abyss play. If the other copy of Dreamnail is here, this will be good for Skurry. If it isn't, it'll be bad. Hopefully, there's also the chance that Shade Soul is down there, which could also mercifully end this race for us. Okay, good job by Yote taking down Marmu. Yeah, definitely great to see. Interesting that he decides to get the essence. Though that could be helpful to him in a possible Arcane Egg endgame. If somehow Yote were able to get another 8 goals before Skurry can get 2. Okay, what is on Yote's mind? Presumably Galleon, since that is the fastest goal he can mark right now. Probably doesn't want to return to No Eyes just yet. Unfortunately, by making this play, he is seeding Rancid Eggs to Skurry, if Skurry can figure out how to get them. Changing Rando for the sake of the Big O card is a very strange decision, I think. I wouldn't be a fan of removing Tuck just for a single goal in Bingo. I mean, the Rancid Egg goal is already free at the moment, with allowing Sly. And if it were reduced to 3 blood sacks, that wouldn't make it worse either. So, regardless, I don't think it's a huge deal. It's 1 goal out of many. Okay, so Skurry is going to double check on that, on the seer. Yes, that is Shake Look. So what is the plan, Skurry? Please tell me there is a plan. Okay, Yote will be able to get map pins here. If, as long as he is able to get the Geo for it before Skurry checks Grub Song. This could actually be close if Scurry's going there now. It does look like he is. So that could be GG right here. Okay. Yote, are you going to keep on playing the game? It is not clear to me what Yote is doing. It's not clear to me what Skurry is doing either. I mean, this is some impressive stuff. Like, this is next level throwing. Oh, just ended already. Okay. So Yote is checking Shape of On. No, Yote is not checking Shape of On. Yote is getting Geo. No, Yote is not getting Geo. Yote is going to Howling Cliffs to get the King's Idol. Okay, that was correct. Yeah, Murray, I don't want to even imagine what these two would have done with only wings. No, actually, I think that having Claw without wings or dash caused a lot of the troubles this seed, since they didn't know any of the movement strats. Okay, Skurry. Show us the elite no-eye strats. Skurry is taking damage. Skurry is on 1 HP. But he takes it down. Finally. And with that, Skurry secures the tie. One more goal, and the race will be over. After 2 hours and 40 minutes. It may be hard to believe that the race is at an end. Okay, and Skurry has realized. Wait, he actually can't mark 9 pins, but if he just spends all his Geo at the shop. Yeah, no. Learn the rules, Skurry. Skurry is in paralysis because he doesn't know how much Geo he spent, quote unquote. He literally has 3,300 Geo. If he bought out Zelda right now, he would be fine. Well, I guess I ended up bailing Yote out, getting him an extra goal with the time. Like, I'm 90% sure Skurry has 4K right now. And he could just mark it and end the race, but I can't tell him that he has 4K. Oh yeah, why isn't Yote marking it either? Yote has this goal. Both of the runners have this goal. This is unbelievable. And both of the runners have the goal. Oh, Yote needs another column 2 goal? Oh, my bad. My bad. This is amazing. I just can't stop laughing at this unbelievableness. Oh my god, this is going to come down to the randomized goals that are remaining. Yote needs Kahlo, Deep Nest, and City, I think. He's definitely gotten Crossroads already, but he may have forgotten. Oh yeah, because of the goal Yote gave up, he has blocked himself out of getting their last 4 goals. Hmm. I think for the purpose of hard soft lock protection, uh, if Yote were to get both Shade Soul and Arcane Egg, we might let him mark it. I don't know. The reserve rules implementation is a little spotty in a situation like this where a runner really wants to explore the edge case. Anyway, Skurry shouldn't be able to give up all 4 of these goals. I just don't believe it. Um, yeah, there's a shortcut in this room. You don't have to go this way. Wow, I really did think Skurry had cinched it, but what can you do? Oh, Skurry definitely spent 4K, but he didn't mark the goal, so he didn't get it. That's the rule. Um, let's see. Skurry could win this by just finding the other Vengeful Spirit upgrade. That's the fastest way this can end. And conversely, Yote's best chance to extend this is by finding that and finding Dreamgate. No, but he can't mark Dreamgate yet. Yes, points are the primary tiebreaker, so it's actually quite big, especially since almost everyone already has a mixed record at round 2. That the tournament rule is that the race ends as soon as one player collects 13 goals. So, as long as Skurry does that, he will win. This is a rare scenario, though, where Yote has screwed himself out of being able to get 13. So as long as Skurry struggles to finish the seed, Yote has the chance to collect points and improve his margin. And like I said, if somehow Yote manages to acquire the 4 remaining goals, then maybe we'll consider extenuating circumstances for the reserve rule. I doubt it, but certainly in this case, I think that it's fair to say Skurry has locked up the win. Um, but he does have to earn the win by getting 13 goals. That is a rule. No, I don't think bumping people up to 13 is the right call, personally. Because that exaggerates every tiebreaker across the board unfairly. And frankly, I didn't like giving 13-0 for forfeit either. I thought that should be 1-0. But that's another thing. So Skurry is going to finally give us our Thorns of Agony check. Maybe. Looks like he wants to heal first. And he gives up without trying. Meanwhile, Yote visits Lem. Probably going to get the simple key and work towards Hot Springs, I guess. I don't think there's a way to comprehend what's happening right now. I think someone in chat needs to take over for the post game. I can't face these runners after everything. It's too much. Okay, Yote is checking Hot Springs. Skurry is going to the Abyss now. Oh, Yote, why? The worst part about this, too, was that Skurry had actually won, right? He actually had 4,000 Geo. And he just refused to mark it. Or even spend his stock of free K to convince himself that he could mark it. No. The two dash upgrades are at Wraiths and um, Dreamgate. But Thorns is checkable without dash. Claw and Crystal Heart is enough to check it. Yeah, there's a horrific number of items that haven't been checked yet. If this race continues, like, it could actually take 4 hours for them to full clear this. That's the tracker issue on Skurry's side is a graphical glitch caused by him um, loading a different save before this, I believe. Okay, so Skurry is going for the guaranteed win now by farming. Oh, no, it isn't even a guaranteed win because he still has to find Moth and Cloak at Wraiths. I forgot. So this farming essence is kind of for nothing anyways because he still has to do checks and he could just find Shade Soul along the way. And Skurry is dying to Luskin. If Skurry is really going for the 1200 Essence Arcane Egg, I mean, it is a guaranteed win, but ugh, that'll take forever. Especially with the death. Okay, you know what? I'm doing it. I can't do this any longer. I'm spoiling myself on the seed. And Skurry dies to Luskin again. Something is happening in chat right now. I do not approve of it. Okay, Yote meanwhile making his way into Howling Cliff Kingdom's Edge from the bottom. We'll have to see how long it takes Skurry to get the essence he needs to finish out the seed. But Skurry does finally finish out Lost Kin, thankfully. Oh my god. Okay, I spoiled myself. So, I know where they are. I won't spoil you. I don't feel like either racer is on the right track now. It's... I will give you a hint and say it's a place which should have been checked a long time ago. And I'm not happy. Oh wait, did I think that he had killed Luskin when he had him? That's bad. I'm looking at chat, but I'm not going to react to anything. They did check Mantis Lords. But there was a moment in which Skurry died to Deep Focus, even though he had Crystal Heart, and we were very unhappy about it. And Skurry went back and still didn't remember that he had Crystal Heart. They also never went back to the Crystal Peak chest after they got Dash. And somehow I don't think either of those items are ever going to get checked. Okay, so Skurry is challenging Failed Champ next without any upgraded spells. This could be rough. Meanwhile, Yote making his way up to Coliseum. And Skurry gets off to a fantastic start with an almost instant death. Skurry does not have any level 2 spells. And Skurry gives up immediately. Save quits out. This is despair. Skurry says in bingo chat that he has 10 minutes before he has to forfeit. Skurry has to go to work now. This is actually that bad. Oh, does Skurry have Shriek? No, maybe. Skurry has forfeited from the race. I think that we're going to call it when Yote gets Hot Springs. It will be a 12-9 forfeit from both sides. That is what the racers agreed to. Well, that was quite an experience, wasn't it? Both racers agreed to forfeit. Um, so that's why we're calling it 12-9, the way it was. Well, that was quite something, wasn't it? GG everyone. That was amazing in a lot of ways. And I think everyone can be happy with the resolution which ended it, finally. Okay then. So I think that's that. Oh, the pickups, it was, I believe, Dreamgate at yeah, if anyone wants to hop into Race Channel 1, I'm in here. Um, but Dreamgate was at Deep Focus, and Vengeful Spirit was at the Crystal Peak Chest. So that was what we were waiting on. This really was something which would have ended a billion years earlier if Skurry had remembered that he had Crystal Heart. Okay, so I don't think any of the racers want to join for an interview, so I'm going to go ahead and close the stream out now. We'll be announcing the round 3 matches shortly, though you can already see them on the challenge page. And we'll start scheduling those for next week. See ya.